Go over here. Go over here. Recording?
Yeah.
Hello guys. Got a new printer here. This is the Eryone Thinker SE. The last one I put together was the Eryone Thinker S. So I'm going to do an unboxing here and show you how to put it together all in one video. So this will be a long one, so hopefully you got your popcorn and you're ready. So opening the box, comes in a nice big box and it's marked heavy, so that's always good. First thing on top is your quick starter guide, the Eryone quick starter guide for the Thinker SE. And then here is your instruction manual. The instruction manual is very well written. The English is fairly plain. There's not a lot of grammatical problems like a lot of the products that come out of China. So they've done a really good job editing the different parts of the manual, and it does a good job of explaining exactly how everything is working. And so that's the manual. The quick start guide basically gives you the directions on how to put it together and shows all the different parts. Then next in the box is the parts list. So it shows all the different parts that were included in with the Thinker SE. I've had such good luck with the Thinker S. I have two of them now, that I needed to add another reliable printer to my fleet. I'm having too much trouble with the Sidewinder X1 from Artillery. It's just a constant string of breakdowns and repairs that cost way too much. I could have bought a really expensive printer in comparison, but these printers have given me no trouble at all. I've not had any breakdowns of parts other than changing the nozzle and the PTFE tube. So I was happy to add a third printer to my fleet of 10. So this will make number 11. So first thing in the box, it's very packed really well. It has all packed in this real dense foam. So it's not going to shift around or move around. Now the difference with the Thinker SE compared to the Thinker S is that it has the glass bed. It's very similar to what the Creality printers have, and it's held on with the clips, where the Thinker S has the flex plate with the PEI coating on it. So we'll start by taking out these parts here. So here's your little box. Has your packaging list of what all is in it. Got your little snap chat window or whatever you call those things there, your icons. And you open it up. And so you get some PTFE tube, spare nozzle, a nozzle cleaner, spare belt, spare tube holders, little clips that hold everything on, some screws. So this is your extra gift, spare screws. The next is your install screws. This is mainly for the holding the tower onto the bed. And you have a bracket kit for the right side, a bracket kit for the left side, and that includes your little turn off switch there, a handy dandy putty knife. I like that it's got a wood handle instead of the plastic handles. So I always keep those handy to help get the print off the table. And here, this is your filament holder. Instead of mounting to the top, like most of them do, it mounts to the side rail. I usually put it over in a corner to allow for the filament to shift in place without causing a lot of Z-wobble. And you got, in this package, you got your knob, you got USB cable, and your jump drive, or your little flash drive, and your flash drive reader. It's the way that that's what I use. I have never used the USB cable to run a print. My computers aren't reliable enough to trust it for that. And then you got your bag of parts. You got your Allen wrenches, your clippers. I really like these clippers. The ones that you usually get in the Creality printers have the blue soft rubber that after about 3 or 4 days of using it starts poking through the bottom end. These do not do that. They also seem to be a little stronger or thicker metal. A little screwdriver and all your Allen wrenches. So that's that part. Let's get back just a little bit so we can pull it out of the box here. And pull a few of these little foam pieces out. Anybody watching out there?
There are 5 of them.
All right.
Got that now.
Some foam. The kids always like these foam pieces. They get to build forts or whatever out of them. So here is your first part, your main body part of the printer. One really nice thing that I like is it already has the measuring devices already as part of the rails. That makes it really easy to make sure that both sides are lined up. And the cameraman is being eaten by mosquitoes there. So, and then it has little parts that go onto your extruder. They don't assemble the extruder, but it's just a few screws to get it assembled. Got the motor and all the rails and everything are already in place. Your switches are in place. Your motors on the back side are in place. It's got dual Z-axis motors. So that gives you a good view of that part. And then the body here, got some more of the foam pieces. So here's your power cord. Little cooling fan for one of the chips. Probably an extra piece. Here is your nozzle setup. I really like the nozzles on these. They use the similar to what's on the E3D hot end. I've never had any problem with it getting clogged in the heat break. Those big fins and a strong fan on the side seems to really do the job. It comes with a little insulation silicone boot around it, and then your part cooling fan, and it just bolts on to it. This part is metal, not plastic, so it's nice and sturdy. And then you've got your filament for testing, and your power unit, supply unit here. Make sure you put it on the 110 for those of you guys in the United States, and 230 for those that need it overseas. It's nice that this is separate, that you can kind of move it around if you need to. It gives you some leeway on it. It probably would be nice to have it mounted underneath the bed, but then it would be hard to get to if you needed to work on this. With this one, all you have to do is just unplug it and then unscrew it, and work on your parts and everything. So up underneath here, this is your computer board and everything. You can see here, all the computer brains are right in this. It seems to have really good airflow, as you can see here. I've never had any of the chips burn out or any problem with the board. I've been using one printer pretty much for a year straight now with 0 issues as far as the electronics go. You can see how they've wrapped all the cables, and they've got these nice little clips that hold the cable in place. Everything is zip tied together, so it's very well done. You've got your feet down there. I also like that it's included these big turning wheels for leveling the bed. That really makes it easy compared to the little wing nuts or a little tiny knob to try to grab. And they do a really good job. They're not as one that's a solid state relay. but I'm stuck from the bed. So that's the bottom side there. Okay, I can move the box out of the way. So there you have the pieces. So we'll look at what's first off on the instruction manual. I'll set that down so it don't blow over. Okay. So number one is attaching the Z-axis extruders to the main body. That's pretty straightforward and simple to do. Get your Allen wrenches out and your bag of screws and bolts. Lost a washer. Aaliyah, can you help me find the little washer I dropped on the ground? Right down there under the table. You see it? Thank you. Okay, so I'll set that like that, like so. And your little switches to hook onto your motor come up through the extrusion, which is nice. You don't have cables outside, so they went to the trouble of drilling some holes there for it. And you can see right here, these little holes here are where the screws hold the frame. So you make sure I put it on the right direction. So it's a very simple process. This is probably the hardest part right here. You put your screws in there, one there, and I've always put a little lock washer on there so they don't come undone. Second screw right here. I will just screw them in partially until I get them all put together so that I can kind of tighten them all evenly so it doesn't make the frame crooked. That tends to give you some unevenness in your bands there. So is that the right one? Yep, that's the right one. Let's see here. Just kind of get that one started. Get that one started. Third one, and number 4. Okay, so now I got them all in, so I'll tighten this lower outside one first, and tighten this one up here on the outside. And when you're snugging these down, since it is aluminum, just give it just a tiny tug, because you don't want to strip out the aluminum threads. And next, we'll put the inside one. And then the bottom one here. Okay, so now we'll set it back up, right? So there you have the main frame all built together. It took just a few minutes, so should be a pretty simple job. These are so well thought out they don't take a rocket scientist. I'm just a hillbilly from the Ozarks, so if I can do it, anybody can do it. So next, we will assemble the brackets, and this will give it more stability on the sides. Right here, you have two brackets. One goes on the left, and one goes on the right. So this one is the left bracket. And so that will go right over here, and then the right on that side. So this one has the switch that stops the Z-axis motor from going. So you just have, you have two little T nuts here. I like to unloosen them a bit. Wrong one. Where'd the other one go? Is this it? Nope. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Oops. Unloosened it too much. Is it unloosen or untighten? I guess it'd be untighten. If you unloosen, that'd make it tight, right? Okay, so you stick that here and adjust the top ones so that it'll go in there. I like to try to, you kind of feel it to make sure it's level, top and bottom, and on the side over here. And as these tighten, they twist side to side and allow you to tighten it to the frame. Once again, these are aluminum, so don't over tighten them. Don't put a gorilla grip on them. But you don't want them to come loose while it's printing and vibrate. So there you go. And right here are your switches. You've got this switch here, which feeds up, or connectors, I guess. And it will connect right here. You just make sure you stick it in the right way. Yep. They don't give you a lot of room, being that, maybe I'm looking at it backwards and upside down. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong.
You'll break it.
Well, I can't see it.
Well, how about you turn around here?
I will, just a second. Let me get this one up here first. They only go one way. So that's for the Z back here. You got the Z right here. And so when they come around on the front, you can reach. Okay, let's see here. I believe it goes this way. My big fingers. Oh, that's not the way. Instead of this is the way, this is not the way. Yeah, that's the way. I just had to get it the right direction. So there you go. And then let me add connector for the right side over here. So they're already making a fort out of my box. Didn't last very long. All the neighborhood kids, since I got all the cool toys, always are here. Okay, so once again, just kind of level it out with your finger. Make sure, you know, you can kind of feel that it's flush. Tighten them up. Okay. So your next step, after you get the T-brackets and everything, is to assemble the feeder. So we've done, and put the extruder, assemble the hot end, and then assemble the feeder. And then assemble the extruder and wire pieces, and make sure everything's all plugged together. And then you're ready to power it up. So, to get the feeder assembled, you have to cut this zip tie off. And then flip this around like so. Untighten this little screw just a little bit.
That's it. I'm not done. Okay, now what?
There you go.
Okay, what do I do?
One good thing is, especially for a beginner, these extruder feeders can be a little tricky on figuring out how in the world you put it together. So they kind of leave it, they already have it together, which is really handy for the beginners, because getting that all put together and then holding it in place can sometimes be very tricky proposition. So we've got 2 screws and this screw here. So once you get that into place, like so. And then take, right? So I put that, tighten that one up. And then your next one is you have a little cup. Put the screw inside the cup. Set it inside this little feeder part here. Get it lined up. Let's see here. There we go. And once you get it fit in there right, it just feeds right down. And I really like it when they supply these long Allen wrenches, especially for us big guys. And then this right here, love this. This really saves the wear and tear on your feeder. You just screw this into place, like so. And that way, when you're feeding your line, this takes the tension off of it. It's not all being placed on the plastic parts on the extruder. And just give it a couple more twists. It doesn't have to be tight or anything. It's not really doing anything other than letting the filament feed through. So next, we will need to lower our Z-axis some. So I can get everything fed through. So there we go. Now on the extruder, your hot end here, I've put them together upside down and backwards on accident before. You make sure that it's fed this way. Last time I fed it this way, and that was in the way. So you want to have it up here above, and you'll take one of these little screws and a washer. And feed that in that little hole there. Get it started. And then get your second screw and little washer. And level it up. Yep, I must not have it on there straight. Let me untighten this just a little bit. Just call me Mr. Butterfingers. Anybody know what movie that was from? Shout out. Just call me Mr. Butterfingers. Hard to do it upside down and backwards. Ooh. Where'd the washer go?
Go to your spare part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot easier when I can see it when I'm facing it. It has a lock washer too, but I've never had these things come loose, so I doubt that it's really necessary. And then your filament or your PTFE tube just pushes in right there and lock it in place. So now all you have left is your cables. Hooking them up. And nice thing is they got things all marked out here for you. You've got your X motor, which is right here. You have your BL, which is for a BL touch, if you want to add that. Goes right there. And then you have your EO, or E0, and your X-Men. So the X-Men, is that kind of like Wolverine? So the X-Men goes right here. Like so. And then your extruder goes there like that. So there, everything is plugged in, except for this. So it goes over here on this side, and it plugs in right here, like this. And then your power cable, which you plug in right here and then plug into your wall. But before I forget, I am going to switch it to 110. Doesn't work very well with 220. And it probably doesn't do your machine much good either if you plug it in that way. Especially if you're on 220 and you plug it in at 1015.
Oh my god.
And the last thing is the little knob.
Oh my god, we can actually take these out.
Setting right here. And there we go. So there's your little turn knob. It's got a reset button. So there you have it, the Thinker SE. To hold these, instead of just having these clips, I noticed they've given you these little things here to hold the corners with, which are handy. So I'll do that here later. But I just thought I would give you a how-to video, one that was more complete on the Thinker SE. And next I will get it, find a spot for it in my shop and give it a test run. I will probably remove one of those sidewinders that are just nothing but a trouble and set it there. And you got your protective sheet over the glass. I usually will clean this with rubbing alcohol, and then if you're using PETG filament, I usually put glue stick on it. Since PETG is very cantankerous about sticking, it has to be hot and it has to be sticky for it to work well. So, but there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will be happy to answer any questions anybody has. But this machine on Amazon right now is $419. They usually have a special going, so keep an eye on it. But I would highly recommend, if you want a large bed printer, this is what I use for my helmets, the jetpacks. I can put half of the jetpack on there. I can do my blaster parts, the big grips, gauntlets, anything that's tall, the shin pieces, all of that. So have a good evening. Talk to you later. Bye.